Hey, check on your friends with strong-willed children. They might need chocolate or ice cream or wine or all of the above. Do you have a strong-willed child? Do you know somebody with a strong-willed child? You know what? It's out there. There's books on it. We hear about it. We talk about it. Sometimes we really hope it won't happen to us. Well, what happens if we do? What if we do have a strong-willed child? That's what I want to talk about today because I have a little bit of experience with my girls and I have some friends with some strong-willed children. But believe me, I don't think that it's necessarily a bad thing at all. Hi, and welcome to Learning Life, and thank you for joining me today. Do you have a strong-willed child? Do you know a strong-willed child? You know what? They're out there. They really, really are. And it's part of parenting. It is part of life. You know what? I love being able to help fellow friends in their parenting. That really just is my heart, parenting education. I actually have other videos that can I suggest that you check them out at Learning Life. You can also check out my website, learningthis.life. And thank you for the likes and subscribes. You can still subscribe. Find out when the next video comes out. I don't believe that the strong-willed child is a bad thing. We hear books on it, raising that strong-willed child. And in many ways, this strong-willed child has this negative connotation. Ooh, they're strong-willed. Have you heard about so-and-so? They have a strong-willed child. I'm a firm believer in anything that could be construed as the negative when it comes to our children. If we're going to be speaking that over them, it's sort of what they become. What if we take those positives and we flip it and we give it a different narrative. We give it a different truth. Yes, that strong-willed child is a child that knows their mind, that is, strong-minded, that can be a little bit draining because we're dealing with so many big things. There are now books, and you've seen it more of a shift instead of calling it strong-willed, spirited. I think there's maybe a few little extra characteristics to a spirited child that you might not necessarily see under the traditional look of what a strong-willed child is. But you know what? I think we can use both of them interchangeably. And again, it's not a bad thing. In our house, we believe in speaking the truths, and definitely the truths that we want to see, like in our girls. And you know what? Yes, they're strong-willed. I have seen that. But we don't say, oh, you're a strong-willed child. We say, you are powerful. Oh, you are passionate. Now, how can we steer that passion for good? You know what? Oh, you can control your emotions. Yes, I love that. I love your thoughts and opinions. Let's do something with it. I'm not going to have the strong-willed, oh, they're stubborn. Wow, you really know how to go for what you want. And if that's what you believe, then good for you. Let's make sure it's backed up with facts. I love facts. So again, all the negative things that we've been hearing about strong-willed children over the years, I just think, can we flip that? Can we change that narrative and not speak that over them? Let's speak the truth of the positives and the good things. Yes, we have that. I didn't necessarily know that I was going to sign on for 2 strong-willed children the same age. So I don't even get a break when it comes to, their ages and what they've been learning. Now they're not that all the time. And our strong-willed children are not that all the time. They're still beautiful and caring and loving and funny and kind. But we have these bigger moments where they're just going to step up in all their powerful glory. And so what are the characteristics of this strong-willed or spirited child? Strong perseverance. This can be a really good thing because we know that they are determined to go for something, so they will get there. But it is also, this is what I want. This is what I want. This is what I want. And that can be a little bit draining. No, you cannot have that for dinner. We're having this with everybody else. There's strong perseverance. Big emotions. Oh, big, powerful emotions that just come out. Yes, And again, this is something that can be learned and controlled. It doesn't have to be the all-encompassing bad thing, though in the moment when these emotions are happening, and it can be exhausting. I've spent a lot of time lately just having to sit on the kitchen floor holding a child, one of my girls, as they're working through these emotions and how they can sort of take that breath to sort of let things go and realize that they don't have to hold on to it so tight, because that might not be the best thing at all. By myself. Yes, by myself. I can do it by myself. I want to do it by myself. I will put my shoes on. I don't care if it takes me 20 minutes. I said I would put my shoes on and I will do it by myself. No, you cannot help me. Have you seen that? Yeah, we do get this tendency for this by myself. Again, just one of these things. I love that you can do it by yourself. Please just let me help you. Please. Epic meltdowns. A tendency for epic meltdowns. Have you had those in public? Do you have those at home? Again, this is just when everything just seems to be so overwhelming, really, for them. And it comes out that this is what I want, and it's by myself, and it's all of this, and it's just going to come out. And when it's in public, gee, isn't that fun? Oh, yeah. Good at selective hearing. Oh, yes. Do you see that? You know what? They just suddenly don't hear what it is that they don't want to hear. We actually have one that does selective languages. She has decided that if she doesn't want to do what Papa is asking her to do, she will just look and say, I don't understand you, because he's speaking to her in German. She understands, but instead of just choosing not to hear, she chooses her language. So often our strong-willed or our spirited children are very good at selective hearing. They like to argue. This can be a good thing later in life, but as a child, when they're digging in their heels, maybe not. But, again, this is okay. This is just who they are. If they want to be in that moment, though, it can be intense and draining. They can also be dramatic and intense. Bossy, they just might have excess energy, and maybe they have sensitivity triggers. There's a lot of sort of these different little characteristics that come through. Again, none of these have to really define them and label them over in this category where we tend to think strong-willed is bad, because this is what they are not. They are not bad children. They are not difficult children. This is not a label that we can say, they're like that. No, why would we ever want to label a child bad? They're a bad child. They're still learning their emotions and all of that. I don't believe that we can label a child bad. Maybe we have some difficulties, but they're learning, they're growing. We still learn and grow as adults. And, it can be tough, because be prepared for judgment, right? People are going to judge our children's behavior, and they're going to judge us and our parenting, because that just seems to be what it is nowadays. And I don't get it. I don't like it. I know that I have been judged in public by total strangers because of the comments that they have made. And it's not nice. And I'm like, well, at that moment, it's really tough. And, later on I'll cry about it. But, it's not helpful. Our children are not trying to be difficult or bad. They're just experiencing things in a big way. And they just haven't worked out how to best sort of control it, or you take that big thing and use it in a positive way. So how can we raise our strong-willed, our spirited, our passionate, strong-minded children? Well, we build trust. That means being there to listen, to just sit there in the moment. Here it is what they have to say, maybe not even saying anything at all, allowing these emotions to come out, that they would know that you are there for them and that they can trust you in the big emotions as well as in the smaller ones. Be consistent. Yes, this can be hard. That's consistency, like in boundaries, in consequences, or maybe some rules that you've had to establish, being consistent in what you say and how you say it, because even our strong-willed children need that consistency. Not too many rules, but some good, strong boundaries. And again, knowing that they can hit you like that wall and you are going to be there for them, but this is what we've established. This will help you to control you and your emotions. Allow your child to learn through experience. Yeah, experience is a big thing. Let them fail. Let them try something and see that it doesn't work. Let them see what happens if they are going to be acting like this. It is learning independence. It is learning some autonomy. But of course, in that, they have to learn and see how their independence and their autonomy affects others. We don't want to just be like so independent and just doing everything like this to the detriment of others, especially in our family. That's not okay. So allow them to learn through these experiences and learn through who they are. Be willing to walk away from arguments. That can be tough. That is tough for me. I like to argue. I like to present that case and bring it through. But I've seen that when these emotions come up, sometimes the best thing to do is to just withdraw from it, to not engage in those behaviors, because it's not actually really teaching them the right thing. That's just I can come at you and we're just going to hit and butt heads on it. It's not actually really helpful. So one thing that I've been learning, it's okay to say, I'm not going to talk about it right now, especially not if you're talking to me like that, in that tone of voice. So we'll talk about it later when you have calmed down. It's really funny though, then when they get upset and they actually then, you start trying to say something to them and they go, I'm not going to talk to you if you're going to talk to me like that. We've hit that stage where sort of that sass comes back when your words come back, used in the right context, just maybe not in the right tone of voice. But these are all things that we can do to just really, and it's not survive. I don't want us to just survive having these strong-willed children, these spirited, strong-minded children. I think it's great. I look forward to what it is that the girls are going to be doing when they are older, because they are learning how to control their emotions. They are learning how to communicate it. They're still 6. They are young. They are learning that there are consequences for our behaviors. And again, as I said, in our house, my husband and I really like to speak the truth over them. You are powerful. Ooh, I see that. That is powerful. Let's use that power for good. You are smart. I like the way that you are thinking and that you're trying to present that through. Can I, maybe present another thought or opinion or an idea? You can control your emotions. You can communicate them well. You are respectful. We're trying to take all the things that maybe, could be deemed negatives of a strong-willed child and show them that they are the positives. This is who you are. This is who you're designed to be. Oh, you're not bossy. You are a leader. But remember, as a leader is still kind and respectful to its people, and it listens, and it doesn't just take over, but it incorporates ideas, and it isn't just being it's my way, and if you don't do it, it's about negotiation. Maybe it's about compromise too. So all of these things, it's a journey. And yes, some days, I get to the end of the day and I am exhausted. I'm oh, I can't do this anymore. That's when my self-care has to come in, because you know what? Yeah, big emotions, that stubborn putting foot down. And sometimes as a parent, I'm just giving in because I'm done and I am tired. But it doesn't have to be. It still is a joy to be raising these girls, these strong-minded girls. Watch out, world. Seriously, watch out. But if you have a strong-willed child, I am locking my arms with you, because I understand getting to the end of the day and sometimes thinking, I just failed because I lost it. Or I can't deal with these emotions anymore. Something has to give. We know that they're going to get there, and we know it's going to be an uphill journey sometimes. It's going to be a battle sometimes, but it is going to be worth it to get up over that hill, to get to that other side. And so all my mums and dads and friends with strong-willed children, I'm there with you. And if you don't have one, be grateful. There are times I'm like, I wish that you were just compliant and I would ask you to do something. And every time it's like, oh, sure, Mommy, I'd be glad to help you out. Now, yes, I have those moments, but I also have why should I clean my room? And you are telling me what to do and you are not in charge of me. I am in charge of me. Yeah, but then please actually show us that you can be in charge of you and not just reflect that back at us. So friends, if you know someone with a strong-willed child, check on them. They might need some help. They might need just to vent. They might just need someone to just come in so that they can have a little break just for a moment and get some self-care. Because our strong-willed children, they are the future. They are the ones that will rise up as our leaders. And one thing that I absolutely refuse to do is break the spirit of my girls. I've heard that. It's okay. They're strong-willed. You just need to break it. They're not a horse that we are trying to get a saddle on. We do not break the spirit of children. Excuse me, they're not bad. They don't need to be broken. They are children and they need to be trained and they need to be encouraged and they need to be built up because they're children and they're learning. Just like, guess what? We're adults and we're still learning. I know I'm learning in this parenting journey. Thank you so much for watching today. And if you want to be part of our Learning Life community, check out my website, learningthis.life, where there's blog posts and information about how you can get involved with us as a champion. You can also check that out at patreon.com.